You don't hear the first shot. You hear your own breathing. It comes in short, ragged bursts as the ramp of the landing craft crashes into the black volcanic shore of Iwo Jima. The air is thick with sulfur. Each step sinks ankle-deep into ash so loose it feels as though the island is trying to pull you under. An 80-pound pack cuts into your shoulders while the surf crashes behind you, pushing more Marines toward the beach. Then something feels wrong. There is no gunfire. No mortars. No defenders rushing the shoreline. Only an eerie silence hanging beneath the shadow of Mount Suribachi. For a fleeting moment, hope begins to spread. Days of relentless naval bombardment must have shattered the island's defenses. Battleships had poured thousands of shells onto this tiny volcanic rock. Carrier aircraft had pounded it without mercy. Surely nothing could have survived. Men begin climbing the steep black terraces, struggling for balance as the ash slides beneath every step. Then the island opens its eyes. Machine guns explode from invisible positions. Mortars crash into the crowded beach. Artillery shells rip through the landing zones with terrifying precision. Marines dive into the volcanic sand, desperately trying to dig for cover, only to watch the loose ash collapse back into the holes they scrape with trembling hands. There is nowhere to hide. Within minutes, the shoreline becomes a maze of burning vehicles, shattered landing craft, and desperate cries for medics. Smoke swallows the beach. The sulfur stings your eyes. Every instinct tells you to run, yet every direction leads into another storm of bullets. The most terrifying part isn't the fire. It's that you can't see who is firing. The cliffs appear empty. The ridges are silent. The mountain never moves. Yet death comes from every direction, as though the island itself has come alive. The Marines believed they were invading a fortress. They were about to discover they had walked into something far more terrifying than that. The survivors stopped measuring progress in yards. They measured it in bunkers. One bunker silenced meant one more chance to breathe. One ridge captured meant another stretch of ground where the wounded could finally be dragged to safety. Yet every small victory seemed to disappear almost as quickly as it was won. A pillbox would fall silent after a direct hit, only for machine gun fire to erupt from another hillside moments later. A cave blasted shut somehow came back to life before the smoke had even cleared. Marines began looking over their shoulders as often as they looked ahead, because danger no longer had a direction. It felt as if the island refused to stay dead. Only slowly did the truth reveal itself. Hidden beneath the volcanic rock was a fortress unlike anything American forces had encountered in the Pacific. More than 11 miles of tunnels connected reinforced bunkers, artillery positions, command posts, and concealed cave entrances. What appeared to be separate defenses from the surface were, in reality, pieces of one vast underground network. Soldiers vanished into darkness, moved unseen beneath the battlefield, then emerged somewhere entirely different to fight again. The mastermind behind this deadly maze was Lieutenant General Tadamichi Kuribayashi. Unlike many Japanese commanders before him, he understood that defending the beaches was hopeless. Instead, he surrendered the shoreline without a fight, allowing thousands of Marines to land almost unopposed. He wanted them crowded together on the soft volcanic sand before unleashing every hidden weapon at once. It was a trap measured not in minutes, but in months of preparation. His men had transformed the island into a machine designed to consume an invading army one step at a time. For the Marines, every advance became painfully expensive. Tanks bogged down in the loose ash. Engineers cleared one obstacle only to discover another hidden beneath it. Medics crawled through shellfire toward wounded men, never knowing whether the next bullet would find them first. Sleep became a distant memory. The sulfur-filled air burned their throats. Fresh water was scarce. Every explosion echoed through the volcanic rock, followed by moments of silence so unsettling they were often worse than the gunfire itself. Because silence meant someone was waiting. Then came the realization that changed everything. this battle would not be won by bigger guns or heavier bombardment. To defeat an enemy hidden beneath the earth, the Marines would have to carry the fire directly into the darkness. Fire became the only language the fortress understood. When rifle bullets failed to silence a bunker, flamethrower teams moved forward through storms of gunfire, carrying tanks of fuel so heavy, and so dangerous, that every Marine nearby knew they were the enemy's first target. One bullet in the wrong place could turn a man into a living torch, yet they kept advancing because no one else could break the defenses buried beneath the rock. The attack became known as Blowtorch and Corkscrew. First came a stream of burning fuel, pouring through narrow firing slits and cave entrances, filling the underground chambers with unbearable heat and smoke. Then engineers rushed forward with explosives, sealing entrances beneath tons of shattered volcanic stone. It was brutal, exhausting work, repeated bunker after bunker, cave after cave, until the battle became less about capturing an island than surviving another 100 feet. Still, Mount Suribachi remained above them. From its hidden guns, the mountain had watched every landing, every desperate charge, every life lost on the beaches below. As long as its summit remained in Japanese hands, it was more than a landmark. It was a constant reminder that the battle was far from over. 5 days after the invasion began, a patrol from the 28th Marines started the dangerous climb. No one knew exactly what waited near the top. Every cave mouth could hide another rifle. Every ridge might conceal a final ambush. The higher they climbed, the quieter the mountain became, and that silence was almost unbearable. Then, at last, they reached the summit. A small American flag was tied to a length of steel pipe and raised into the volcanic wind. Far below, thousands of exhausted Marines looked up from the battlefield. Cheers rolled across the island. Ship horns echoed from the fleet offshore. For the first time since the invasion began, many believed the nightmare might actually end. But history remembered a different moment. A larger flag soon replaced the first so it could be seen across the island. As 6 Marines struggled together to raise it, Associated Press photographer Joe Rosenthal captured a single image that would become one of the most recognizable photographs ever taken. The world would remember that photograph as a symbol of victory. Few realized that 3 of the 6 men in it, Sergeant Michael Strank, Corporal Harlan Block, and Private First Class Franklin Sousley, would never live to see the fame it brought. And even as the flag flew above Suribachi, the deadliest fighting on Iwo Jima was still waiting in the north. The flag over Mount Suribachi lifted spirits. It did not end the battle. Beyond the mountain stretched a landscape scarred by shellfire, broken ridges, and hidden strongholds where thousands of Japanese defenders still waited. Every hill concealed another bunker. Every ravine hid another firing position. The Marines had won the island's highest point, but they had not broken its will. Each day became a slow, relentless advance. A few yards forward. A sudden burst of gunfire. Another bunker. Another cave. Another name added to the growing list of men who would never leave the island. The fighting no longer resembled the sweeping offensives of earlier campaigns. It became intensely personal. Small squads battled for ground measured in feet, clearing one position only to discover another beyond it. Exhaustion settled into every movement. Faces disappeared beneath layers of volcanic ash until friend and stranger looked almost the same. The distinction between day and night faded beneath endless explosions, drifting smoke, and the constant expectation that another hidden entrance would open without warning. Yet with every position captured, the purpose of the invasion slowly became reality. On March 4, 1945, while fighting still echoed across the island, a damaged American B-29 bomber made an emergency landing on Iwo Jima's newly secured airfield. For its crew, the tiny volcanic island meant the difference between life and death. Before the war ended, more than 2,200 B-29s carrying over 24,000 airmen would use Iwo Jima as an emergency landing field, sparing thousands of lives that might otherwise have been lost in the Pacific. The battle finally came to an official end on March 26, after 36 days of relentless combat. The cost was staggering. Nearly the entire Japanese garrison of around 21,000 men was killed. American forces suffered more than 26,000 casualties, including 6,821 dead, the only major battle in the Pacific where U.S. forces incurred more total casualties than the defenders. Victory had been achieved, but no one who survived believed it had come cheaply. Admiral Chester Nimitz later reflected on the men who fought there with words that have never faded. Among the Americans who served on Iwo Jima, uncommon valor was a common virtue. Today, the black volcanic beaches are quiet. The surf still washes across the same shore where young Marines once struggled to stand. Mount Suribachi still rises above the island, no longer surrounded by smoke, but by silence. Beneath that silence lies a maze of tunnels slowly surrendering to time, holding the echoes of men who fought in darkness and those who never returned to daylight. The photograph of the flag raising became one of history's greatest symbols of victory. But Iwo Jima was never just about a photograph. It was about courage tested beyond imagination. It was about ordinary young men carrying extraordinary burdens across a landscape that seemed determined to consume them. And it remains a reminder that history is not changed by monuments or famous images alone, but by the countless acts of sacrifice that make those images possible. Long after the guns fell silent, the black sands of Iwo Jima continued to tell the same story. Some victories are measured by the ground that is taken. The greatest are measured by the price that was paid to take it.